Hey guys, so today's like a super last minute episode because I just saw this thing in the news and I just had to respond to it. Singaporean actress Jacelyn Tay posted this post on her Instagram, presumably telling the world that she was having a very frank and open conversation with her child. She told her child not to kiss a girl, not to touch a girl, not to hold her hand until you're married. Being aroused is unpure. And then she later took it down by saying that Singaporeans are not ready for the conversation, when actually I think we're ready for that conversation. We just completely disagree with everything that you said. How do we have a proper conversation around sex with our kids is like something that every parent struggles with. And here comes along the perfect negative example of sex ed. I'm going to try and refrain from tackling Jacelyn Tay herself. I think she's misinformed. As a public figure putting out public comments, I feel like she needs to be corrected. Secondly, this is not an attack on Christians. And number three, I want to be sensitive to the little boy who's involved here. Like obviously he didn't mean for any of this to be posted. Does it really feel good when the penis goes into the vagina? Yes, but don't be perverted. Oh my God. Why would you ever say that to a child? How can you call your kid or anyone perverted for feeling good because they're anatomically built that way? You should only feel good with the one you're married to. If you feel good with anybody else for sexual pleasure, there is something wrong with you. Okay, please take some communications classes. Words matter, especially kids. You know, everything that you say to them, especially around sex, will influence them for life. Like if you're trying to say don't have sex just for the purposes of sexual pleasure and that you should do it within the confines of marriage, you can just say that directly without having to say there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with him. Like guys want to have sex, like that's really normal. Not only your physical body is contaminated, your soul and your spirit will be contaminated too. Oh my God. Again, the worst things to say to anybody is to shame them into thinking they're contaminated. Don't kiss or touch a girl if you're not married to her because that can potentially lead to sex. How is this boy going to live a normal life? This is just so archaic that I can't imagine this being like the prevalent Christian view either. We don't live in the 1400s. If you believe that somebody shouldn't have extramarital sex, that is your right, okay? The right way to say it is sex is a beautiful thing that is best enjoyed between two married people. You certainly don't have to shame them for wanting to have sex with people. Do not believe when other boys say you're not macho if you never had sex before. Don't join the dirty talks about women's body. It's disrespect and dishonor. Nothing really wrong here. I think that's true. You must be aware that looking at sexy ladies, your penis might stand. If you're going to be pretty direct with your other statements, why don't you just use the right term, which is an erection? And then the boy says, what to do if my penis stands and I feel like having sex? Actually, you know, honestly, it's a very good and very direct question. Just control? Maybe the first thing to do is address that it is normal for him to feel that way. There are ways of taking care of it. In my heart, he could probably masturbate, but that sounded so wrong. I know it's very, very hard to have a frank and honest conversation around masturbation with your male child. Like, I don't think masturbation is wrong. I don't think it's shameful. In fact, I think if you banned every guy in the world from masturbating, you're going to have a lot more chaos and unrest and wars. And this is not an excuse for men to commit things like rape. It is well known in sociology that when you have a group of young men with pent-up energy, which will lead to social unrest. God gave me a revelation. A pure soul should not be aroused. Of everything that she said, this line really, really disgusts me. A pure soul should not be aroused. Like, how are human beings to procreate? How are we to survive as a species if we're all like freaking 性冷感? If one's mind is pure and healthy, we should not have sexual cravings except for our beloved married partners. It is so normal for you to have potential sexual feelings for other people. Having a feeling is absolutely not the same as taking action. You cannot blame someone for having a feeling. Like, how is this boy going to feel when he feels aroused, which he will because he's human? Now he's going to think that he is impure and contaminated. That is just terrible. A pure mind should not have any reaction when he sees a sexy lady. Your kid is going to be so confused when he sees something sexy and he reacts to it in the most natural way. Okay. You will notice that the core thing running through her entire publication is this idea of purity and contamination. This is a shame-based mentality that has been used to control women's sexuality for generations. It is literally one of the most unhealthy psychological patterns to have. I'm 36 now, so when I was growing up, the pressures around not having premarital sex, still this very, very strong idea that women should not not feel aroused, should not be horny, should not want sex, which created generations of women who are in denial of their basic physicality and sexuality, myself included. The fact that we live in this generation, we know so much more now with the women's movement, sexual liberation, chastity as a way of controlling anyone's thought patterns. It just doesn't make sense. What are some universally good things to teach your kids about sex, irregardless of your beliefs? First, sex and eroticism are natural and beautiful. Sex is the reason why we are still here as a species. How can something that is so critical and core to our existence be seen as bad and unnatural? Eroticism is the poetry of the body around sexuality. Not only is sex natural, it is beautiful. I personally think that eroticism drives 90% of human beings' greatest creation, from art to music to theater to cinema. So I know we've made some strides in sex ed. Parents are more willing to talk to their kids about their body parts, vaginas, penises, erections, ejaculation, masturbation, things like that. The next layer is to see the art of sex as a thing that can be taught as well. There is absolutely nothing wrong with feeling aroused by anything, because arousal is not a thing that you can control. All that you can control is the actions that you take after you feel aroused. Erections are literally controlled by the autonomic nervous system. This part of the nervous system takes care of things like respiration, blood pressure, digestion. It's completely involuntary. So there is no point in saying don't be aroused by something, but we can control how we react to that. So it doesn't mean that anytime you feel aroused, you have to go fuck something. More productive ways of channeling your sexual energy. Most of us accept that masturbation is a healthy, natural thing that most people do. Channel some of the angst and frustration in physicality. Do you know that the state of Utah in the USA has the highest percentage of social dancers in the world, like people who do salsa, Latin ballroom? It's because they're Mormons, and Mormons are very, very strict about premarital sex, so they have other ways for kids to channel their sexual energy. But her view is even more extreme than Mormons. Like, she's literally saying, don't dance with a girl, don't touch a girl. The most important thing we need to teach our kids is around respect and consent. It is very important that our boys don't objectify women. I do think that there should be limits on porn. Excessive porn watching does lead to a culture of objectifying the person or the actor that you're watching. Consent is seeking permission with your partner. You have to understand where your body ends and your partner's begin. A no is a no. I really hope that I can effectively impart that to my kids. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm happy to go into deeper conversation around any of the micro topics. Please share this with your other friends who might be parents trying to figure out how to talk to their kids about sex. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you guys soon. A lot of people ask me about my jewelry, so there is a link in the description and get 15% off my code.